Overweight women and healthy weight women, they think differently. They talk to themselves differently. They fail differently. And if you've been wondering why you can't crack the code on weight loss, despite being one of the most disciplined women in all of the other aspects of your life, this episode is for you. I'm Holly Bertone, former FBI Chief of Staff for Counterintelligence, now known as the Emotional Eating Profiler and Coach. I've helped hundreds of women stop emotional eating by using the same psychological patterns that control human behavior. And today I am going to show you exactly why motivation is your biggest enemy and what discipline actually looks like when it's working. Because here's what nobody in the weight loss industry actually wants to admit. The problem was never your food choices. The problem was never your willpower. The problem was never your motivation. It's your brain. It is your brain doing exactly what your brain is designed to do. So when I say that overweight and healthy weight people think differently, it's not to be mean, because I was that overweight person. I know firsthand what I was saying to myself. And what I was saying to myself when I was overweight, it was very different when I was overweight to now that I am a sustainable, healthy weight. And then second, I've coached hundreds of clients and students, and I see the same patterns every single day. And I want to talk about one of these patterns today. That is motivation versus discipline. Overweight women, they will tell themselves they need to get motivated to lose weight or to go on the diet. And it's this infamous, I'll start on Monday. I'll start when this work project slows down. I'll start after vacation is over. It is focused on motivation. And I'm going to break the bad news to you. Weight loss is not going to happen when you are motivated, because motivation is temporary. Motivation dies when losing weight becomes difficult or inconvenient. Motivation dies when you've got that vacation. Motivation dies when you get in an argument with your spouse. Motivation dies when you've got that work project. This is exactly when and why you quit. Healthy weight women don't rely on motivation because they know that motivation, it's going to be fleeting and it's fickle. What healthy weight women do instead is that they are disciplined. But before you're like, oh, Holly, I'm disciplined, this is a lot more nuanced. This is a lot more complicated than you think. All of the women I work with, every single one of them, they're an overachiever. Every single one. They are disciplined in all aspects of their life. But that same discipline, it doesn't work when it comes to emotional eating, binge eating, overeating, and losing weight. Okay, follow the logic. I want you to think about weight loss like a pyramid. What you eat, it is at the very top of the pyramid. This is your diet, this is your nutrition. And this is where the majority of the weight loss industry is focused. You know that you should cut out the processed food and the sugar. You know you should eat more whole foods. You know you should eat more protein. I know you know this. So why can't you do this? And why can't you do this, especially when you are so incredibly disciplined in every other aspect of your life? It's because when you struggle with emotional eating and binge eating, you think it's just about what to eat, or you think it's, oh, I just need better willpower. But there's this entire iceberg underneath that gets ignored. And once you work with your brain in a very specific sequence, it is going to be night and day between relying on the motivation and actually being disciplined. This is the difference between going on a diet and actually creating sustainability. By the way, if you're getting value out of this video, hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. Let me break this down for you. Your body is holding on to weight because it doesn't feel safe to lose it. And this weight, it might be from past trauma, which I see all the time, but there's also a lot of other reasons. But you're not just carrying a physical weight, you're carrying emotional weight that your body does not feel safe to lose. And you also think like an overweight person, which causes you to behave like an overweight person. What diet do I need to go on? I'm going to be good. I'm going to eat this sad little salad for lunch. I'm going to be good. I'm not going to eat dessert. And I want to be perfectly clear. This is not you as a person. This is your brain. This is your brain fighting tooth and nail to protect your identity as an overweight woman. Because change to your brain is danger. Your brain is always, always, always going to pick the familiar hell over the unfamiliar heaven. And your brain is going to do everything in its power to justify all of those decisions that's going to keep you stuck. When you do not know who you are outside of your identity as an overweight woman, that identity owns you. This identity, it drives your decisions and your behaviors and your habits. And because of this identity, you are always going to default to the actions and the behaviors of that person who needs motivation to lose weight, compared to the healthy weight woman whose identity also completely owns her. Her identity also drives her behaviors and decisions and habits. When you have this identity of that healthy weight woman, you are going to default to discipline because you know what it took to get you here and you do not want to go back. You've got this North Star and this core identity that this is who you are. And your actions do not represent motivations. Your actions are more aligned with, I don't feel like doing this today, but I'm going to do it anyway. I didn't get a good night's sleep and all I want to do is eat a donut, but I am going to eat healthy anyway. I don't feel like it, but I'm going to go to the gym anyway. Because this is who you are at your core identity. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, you're starting to understand that it does not matter if you have the identity of the overweight person or the identity of the healthy weight person. Because every single behavior that you do, you are proving to yourself that this is who you are. Let me prove it to you. And yes, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record. When you say, I'm going to go on the diet, I'm going to eat healthier, I'm going to be good today, what happens the second that your day gets derailed? The second that something comes along and derails your day? What happens when you get into an argument with your spouse or the boss makes you stay late or the dog poops on the carpet? Do you maintain the discipline of healthy choices, or does that motivation just completely vanish and you're like, you know what? I was bad. I'm just going to eat whatever I want for the rest of the day and start over tomorrow. This happens for a very specific reason. It's because our brain lays down these neural pathways every single time we make a decision, every single time we have a behavior. It's like this groove or this rut. And this becomes our most preferred path. And again, our brain is a pattern predicting machine because same equals safe. So the more neural pathways there are, the stronger those neural pathways are, the more your brain is like, well, this is just how it is. There's no other way. Back to motivation versus discipline. If your body does not feel safe, your brain is protecting your overweight identity. There is no amount of motivation or discipline that's going to work. It is going to be a losing battle. So you might be thinking, okay, Holly, how can I get out of this overweight brain and somehow put myself into the healthy weight brain instead? The good news is that you do not need to wait until you're at a healthy weight to think like a healthy weight woman. You do this starting immediately. And the sooner you start adopting that identity of the healthy weight woman, the sooner you're going to start seeing results. And this can happen in one of two ways. You can start with creating safety in your body so that you actually feel safe to change identities from that overweight woman to a healthy weight woman. And I would recommend working with a coach or a practitioner for this. This is something I specialize, but there's plenty of great coaches out there. This is truly the foundation for the identity change. Or you can just power through it and have that unstoppable drive because you're ready and you're convicted and there is no turning back. I mean, the second one can definitely work. It's just going to be a lot more difficult. when you create safety in your body to actually accept this new identity of the healthy weight person, this is going to activate the sequence in the brain that I just talked about. This is when you're going to be able to have that discipline to maintain the behaviors and the habits that keep you consistent. But there's something that everyone completely forgets about, and that is failure. Failure is a part of the process. There is no escaping failure. When you are motivated and you fail, and because you will fail, we all fail, you're going to quit. Because the story you tell yourself is, I failed, I was bad, something was wrong with me. But when you have that conviction inside of you and you fail, you're going to do one of two things. You're either just going to maintain the discipline, you're just going to keep going, you're just going to power through it, or you're going to take a pause and you're going to ask yourself, what lesson can I learn here? Which brings up another point. Most people treat themselves differently when they fail versus when they succeed. They have different conversations in their head. There's a quote by Will Smith. He said, if you get validation from people on your success, you're going to need to get validation from people on your failure. And the TLDR on this is that we actually do this to ourselves. We need not just external validation, we want that internal validation too. We need that internal validation too. When you have the identity of the healthy weight woman who doesn't have all the food noise and all of the justifications and all of the mental gymnastics going on in her head, it's a lot easier to fail and then still be able to move forward, still have that discipline to keep going. I know when my client actually makes that turn to having that healthy weight identity, it's because it's no longer the I ate 3 cookies, I was bad, and then I just said screw it, and then the day was just downhill from there with eating everything in sight. What it looks like now is I ate the 3 cookies and I stopped. And I realized what I was doing and I checked in with myself and I pivoted and I was proud of the choices I made that day. Do you see the difference between motivation and discipline? Do you understand this is not going to be fixed with another diet? And instead, it's addressing what is in the core foundation of the pyramid I talked about earlier. And the final piece of this is that I care more about the process, not so much the food choices. Because when you are disciplined to the process, you are disciplined to the one that works for you. This is going to keep you on track. This is when you start to lay down those new neural pathways in your brain. You create safety in your body. You start thinking like that healthy weight woman who has that conviction, which automatically makes you more disciplined to the process. So you're automatically doing those behaviors and habits to keep you on track. Congratulations, you've officially reversed the cycle. And if I shared something today that made your head nod, like, okay, Holly, I finally get it, I want you to click the link below this video, and it's going to take you to another page where you can join the Break Emotional Eating Accelerator. And for a one-time investment that is less than a typical Target run, inside the Break Emotional Eating Accelerator, you're going to focus on creating that new identity. You're going to learn how to shut off those emotional eating patterns that are driving your food cravings so that food stops controlling your life, so that healthier choices are automatic, and so that weight loss finally becomes sustainable. And then you also get some pretty cool bonuses. And if you're the type of woman who wants to make the investment to go all in, I'll leave a link for you to apply for private coaching. I only work with 3 or 4 clients at a time, so spots are limited based on availability. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Holly Bertone, and this is Weight Loss Forensics.